Brad Adam here at the Ford Sports Desk. The showdown in Conference USA, you see it right there on our air, the start of a big college football day on Root Sports. Up next, it's the Cat Griz game. Need I say more? I don't think so. When we return, we're going to preview the Brawl of the Wild as Montana State getting set to battle and divide a state. Can the Grizzlies pull the upset against their rival? The players and coaches discuss their dislike of each other next. The Continental Divide. It's easy to see how the rivalry between Montana and Montana State can split families. Animosity, just one word used to describe this showdown for the Great Divide Trophy. But as we found out, it's not hard to find many others.
Montana State. If you were to describe that rivalry in one word, what would that word be?
It's big time.
It's more than just a game.
You're either a Grizzly or you're a Bobcat. There is no, well, it doesn't make any difference.
It's so much pride within the state, and it just elevates and elevates into just an explosion on that first kickoff.
I mean, I get a lot of help that week before the game. For emails, letters, cards from people, play calling suggestions, things that don't happen during the regular season.
It's honestly like a war. Trash talking, guys just do not like each other.
And we call it Cat Griz, they call it Griz Cat. You know, I mean, you have to have your priorities there.
It is probably, as good a rivalry as there is.
There's a trophy that goes back and forth called the Divide Trophy. They're on one side of the Continental Divide and we're on the other side of the Continental Divide. It's kind of like the Hatfields and the McCoys. I mean, some people are on one side of the fence or the other, and there's no turning their colors.
One word, undescribable.
Well, it is hard to describe the rivalry in just one word. These two schools faced each other for the first time back in 1897. Montana won last year and leads the overall series with 70 wins. It's the 11th oldest rivalry west of the Mississippi River. Tom Glasgow, Seth Bonner, and Jason Stiles have the call from Missoula. They filed this preview last night from Washington Grizzly Stadium.
Brad, thanks so much. It's certainly one of the most intense rivalries in all of college football, the Brawl of the Wild. We're going to break it down with Seth and Jason. And Jason, let's talk first of all about Montana State. So much on the line tomorrow beyond the rivalry.
Well, yeah, they get beat in Bozeman by Montana last year, and now we're at the end of the season, an automatic playoff bid and a league championship on the line. A few different things happen for that to happen, but Montana State can make that a lot easier by getting a win on the road in Missoula.
And Seth, obviously motivated to keep the Great Divide Trophy right here in Missoula. The Montana Grizzlies also kind of want to muck up the postseason if they can for Montana State.
Absolutely. They want to play spoiler. They want to get a win, do anything they can to put some kibosh on their rivals from across state.
Let's talk about Chase Smithwick-Hahn, sophomore quarterback for Montana. This will be his first Brawl of the Wild, and pressure. And it's going to be, I think, very interesting to see how he performs early in the game.
Well, they're used to playing in front of packed houses, 26,000, 27,000, but the fever around this town is at an all-time high. This is a great rivalry. They've been kind of beaten up at home by Montana State 2 years ago here. Have a chance to get some payback and do some things well. If he comes out and plays his game and is under control, he could help them to a big win.
Yeah, on the flip side, Montana State, a veteran quarterback and one of the best in all of FCS football in Denarius McGee. For him, I think it's, well, not another day at the office, but he's used to this.
Well, he likes the big lights. He likes the big games, and he certainly played his best football the last few games. That loss against Eastern Washington and those big turnovers really kind of lit him up and made him want to go back and look at what he's doing, and he has not turned the ball over. I think that's going to be a big thing in this game. Don't try and do too much. Let Cody Kirk run the football, let your defense do the job, and if he can stay away from turnovers, this is a Montana State football team playing very good football and playing good football with Denarius McGee and the ball in his hands.
Well, on paper, it should be a great one. That's what we expect. The 112th Brawl of the Wild, live from Missoula.
All right, thank you, guys. Looks kind of chilly out there, as we would expect. Now, here's a look at the Big Sky standings heading into today. 4 teams tied at 6-1 at the top. If any of those 4 schools win today, they're going to assure themselves a share of the conference crown. Cal Poly faces Northern Arizona and Flagstaff, so one of those schools will get knocked from the top spot. College Hoops returns tomorrow on the 112th edition of the Brawl of the Wild. A win by Montana State assures them a share of the Big Sky title, while Montana needs a victory to enjoy a winning season. Grizzlies pulled off the upset last year. They'll try to do it again in minutes. One player expects to enjoy a big day in the Cat Griz game. That's MSU defensive end Caleb Schreibeis. He's been named a finalist of the Buck Buchanan Award given to the top defensive player in FCS. Schreibeis leads the Big Sky with 11 sacks, also fourth in the nation. In fact, he's had at least 1 sack in every game he's played this year. That includes last week when he had 2 sacks, 7 tackles, 2 forced fumbles against Portland State. Yeah, that's all. His performance helped him earn the Root Sports Big Sky Defensive Player of the Week honor. All right, you take a look at the field there. You see some snow on the turf in our highlights there. Leads us to our poll question relating to the weather. The showdown there in Missoula. What's the average temperature for the Brawl of the Wild? Looks pretty calm and tame today. Text us 733-7.
Welcome to Missoula, which today is the epicenter of the Big Sky Conference. For the 112th time, Montana and Montana State battle for pride and bragging rights as they renew their long-standing rivalry. It's the Brawl of the Wild next on Root Sports.
I love it. Our fans are crazy. They start tailgating early in the morning, don't finish till late at night.
You know, they sell out basically every game. You know, their fans are right on top of you.
I love their crowd, and I mean, I love the heckling and everything they do, so I really feed into that.
A very hostile environment. Their fans can get very rowdy.
They just feed off touchdowns we score or sacks. It definitely gets going and rocking.
It is quite a place to play as the energy builds here at Washington Grizzlies Stadium in Missoula. We need to catch up with the head coaches in this game. We're going to start first of all with a gentleman who last week became the winningest coach in Montana State history. A little bit earlier, Jen Mueller caught up with Rob Ash.
All right, thank you, Tom. And Coach, this is a game that fans love to see. It is a rivalry game, and you've got offense, the best offense against the best defense. What's the biggest key for your defense today?
Well, we've got to try to get that running game stopped or slowed down at least. Montana does an awesome job of running the football. The backs are quick, the line is huge, and they have good schemes. And they have a good mix of zone and power and pin and pull, different kinds of plays. So it's a big challenge, but that's what we have to try to do.
You have a very seasoned group of seniors, though, who know how to win in all different situations, including here. How much does that help today?
Well, I think when you win, it becomes a habit, and I think that's how our team feels right now. You know, in 2010, 2 years ago, we really weren't over the hump yet. We had a good season, but we hadn't won this game on the road, and so getting that under our belt helps our confidence, I think, and then we've won a lot of close games and a lot of, late games, late drives in the fourth quarter, overtime games over the last 2 or 3 years. So our guys feel good. If it's a close game, that we'll fight in there and try to get something done.
All right, and you know that nerves are high, a little anxiety. Coach didn't sleep much last night. I didn't either. Hopefully, Jenny Kavner on the Montana sideline got a little bit more sleep. Jenny?
Thanks, Jen. I think a sleepless night just comes with the territory of the Cat Griz game. Coach Delaney, you've been on both sidelines, but this is your first time as a head coach in this rivalry game. Have the emotions been any different for you this week?
Well, they are different. You know, when you have your own little group of guys, your 5, 6, 7 guys, it's kind of nice. I've said a couple times I like that seat on the other side of the hall a lot too. But you know, you get over where you have the responsibilities of the entire group. Actually, the emotions are different. I think you know, probably a little bit more broad picture than you are when you're zeroing in on on what your guys have to do. So, but it's been exciting. It's just a tremendous honor and very humbling to be 70 years old and be coaching the Montana Grizzlies, you know, in this 112th game. It's just been an awesome week.
An awesome week, an awesome 2 weeks. You've had the bye week to do a little extra preparation for Montana State. What in that time has your offense been able to do, especially with the addition of Dan Moore coming back on the field today to counter this #1 ranked conference defense?
Well, you know, the bye week was great. We practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Very crisp and very sharp. You know, we only went about an hour and 15 minutes each day. And basically, we didn't do any Montana State preparation those 3 days. We just kind of took care of ourselves, brushed up, cleaned up some things that, you know, that we'd struggled with off and on through the season, and just tried to get our, you know, our bodies healed and our minds. You know, you go 17 or 16 weeks from the opening of camp. I think the bye for us came at a very, very good time.
Coach, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck today. Tom, we'll get it back upstairs to you.
Jenny, thanks so much. So there you have it from the coaches. The table is set, and we are ready for the biggest and baddest rivalry in Big Sky football, Montana State, Montana. The opening kickoff is coming your way. It's the Brawl of the Wild, and it's next on Root Sports.
That's playing football from, you know, little guy football to college football. You know, what's the deal this weekend? And they're going to either say the Cats are going to win or the Griz are going to win.
It's honestly like a war. It's trash talking. Guys just do not like each other.
When you walk on that field and you know you got the Grizzlies, and I know it's probably the same for them, you know, you want to put your heart out on the line, try to bring home that W for the Cat fans.
It's kind of like the Hatfields and the McCoys. I mean, some people are on one side of the fence or the other, and there's no turning their colors.
Once the Griz Bobcat week comes along, you're either a Grizzly or you're a Bobcat. It is probably, you know, as good a rivalry as there is.
welcome back inside an electric Washington Grizzlies Stadium in Missoula. The second-rated Montana State Bobcats taking the field, a record of 9-1, followed by the Montana Grizzlies, a record of 5-5, and hoping to avoid their first losing season since 1985. As you see some of the fans here, it looks like they're friends, but maybe not for the next 3 hours or so, as we are happy to have you with us on Root Sports for the 112th meeting of the Brawl of the Wild. Sid, talk about what it means to play in a rivalry game.
100 years running, there's a lot of deep-rooted hatred between these two teams, and you could just see the players. There's tension on the field. Players warmed up across from each other. They're ready to go, but which one of these teams are going to be able to channel that and try to get that win this afternoon?
Well, it's a rivalry that began back in 1897 when Montana State was called the Aggies and Montana was called the Mountain Lions. Over the years, the names and faces may have changed, but the brawl has lived on, not only in the intensity on the field, but also in the hearts and minds of Montanans everywhere. Today, it's a rivalry renewed for the 112th time, 1897. And they are ready to get after it again today. Montana State will receive the opening kickoff. Everett Gilbert, Sean Johnson back deep to receive for the Bobcats, who last week a very impressive blowout victory at home against Portland State. Chris Leiter, number 87, redshirt freshman, will be kicking off for the Montana Grizzlies. There's Sean Johnson, who last week had a punt return for a kickoff. Averages 22 yards per return. Everett Gilbert averages 26.2 yards per kickoff return. And we are underway in Missoula. Sean Johnson from his 7. Brought down out near the 26-yard line. Number 9, Denarius McGee leads the Montana State offense, the winningest quarterback in Montana State history this season. 21 touchdowns, just 8 interceptions. All-time passing yardage over 8,000. And a junior out of Euless, Texas, said, who knows how to lead this football team.
Knows how to make plays when there's trouble to be had. He's a great ad-libber.
McGee, a wide open target. Cruz Seawing out near a first down at the 36-yard line. Bo Tully with the coverage for Montana. 10-yard gain and a first down. Our on-field analyst, Jason Stiles. And Jason, nice, effective way for that Montana State offense to start things today.
Yeah, up-tempo. We see a lot of that from Montana, but Montana State a little bit of their own medicine here early on, trying to take the crowd out of it.
McGee wide open, John Ellis. And Ellis still on his feet and brought down 2 yards short, an 8-yard gain for John Ellis, 5'10", 180 junior out of Mansfield, Texas.
It's just a simple show flash to the run. Anthony Goodwin's got to do a better job coming up and tackling in space, because they're going to the bubble receiver. Where there's a gap or an opening, they're attacking that area with a receiver.
So 2 pass plays right out of the gate for the Bobcats. First running play goes to Cody Kirk. And it looks like he'll be denied a first down by a yard. Cody Kirk, a 5'10", 208-pound junior out of Frenchtown, Montana, just about 15 miles west of Missoula. Third down and 1. Montana State has been outstanding this season on third down conversions, connecting 53% of the time, number 2 in the conference. Kirk stacked up and will not get the first down, a loss of a yard. Brock Coyle, middle linebacker for Montana, the first Grizzly there, the 6'2" sophomore out of Bozeman.
They go with the off-tackle power, pulling tackle. Everything gets spilled into the backfield. You see Jordan trip in on the tackle along with Coyle, and just too much pressure up front. Those big nasties up front, talking about Takai and Benjamin, doing a great job at the point of attack.
So Rory Perez on to punt, averaging nearly 41 yards per boot. Back deep to return, Peter Wynn, senior out of Bellevue, Washington, who has one punt return this season for a touchdown, covering 90 yards. Wynn will signal for the fair catch and make it at his own 10-yard line. Good punt that time for Montana State by Rory Perez. Starting quarterback for the Montana Grizzlies, Shea Smith-Wickham, 6'4" sophomore. Look at his numbers this season. Came into the starting lineup just a few weeks ago during a game at North Dakota and has not relinquished that spot. 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and had a solid performance 2 weeks ago in Montana's last game at Weber State. Gerald Kemp in motion. The handoff to Wynn with some room, and Peter Wynn still on his feet and driving out to the 24-yard line. Moyakiola, Caleb Schreibeisen on the stop for the Bobcats.
Catch Jody Owens in a blitz from the backside. He runs himself out of the play, gets caught up in the slack there by Schreibeisen. Look at the strength of this little guy. Not something you think of him when he's running the balls with power, but you see with effort and determination, he's able to get a nice game there.
14-yard pickup for Peter Wynn, who has a chance today to reach 2,000 rushing yards in his career. Here goes Wynn again, full of energy, busting it to the outside, and finally hauled down at the 45-yard line by Stephen Bethley. 21-yard gain for Peter Wynn to follow up his 14-yard carry.
We talked about this big offensive line, Schmang, Henderson doing a great job on the front side, but once again, you're making a good player in the hole. Joe Fuller miss. Watch what he does to Joe Fuller right there in the hole, leaves him in his shoes, and gets a nice guy. I mean, this guy is electrifying. Doesn't have the greatest speed, but just has quick bursts and understands how to run the football.
And for the first time in 5 games, senior Dan Moore in the backfield. Play fake to Moore. Smithwick hand with the pitch. Joey Counts gets around the edge and counts down to the Montana State 42-yard line. A gain of 12. And Jason, what are you seeing in the trenches that's opening up these big holes right now for the Grizzlies?
Well, there's such a huge size advantage for Montana, especially on the right side of that offensive line. I mean, it's a combined over 650 pounds between guard and tackle, and they're really getting it done up front, and they're making people miss one-on-one.
So gains on the ground of 14, 22, and 12. First down, Grizzlies. Dan Moore stacked up in the middle. That's where you got those big tackles, or at least the big tackle for Montana State, and Zach Minter plugging things up. Let's take a look at our By the Numbers, brought to you by Northern Quest Casino, and Jason referring to the size up front. The big advantage, offensive line for Montana versus the defensive line for Montana State. Smithwick hand overshoots his intended receiver, Mitch Saylor.
You know, one of the things we talked about early on is building some confidence for Smithwick Hand early on in this game, get him some good ball control passes so that he can get in a rhythm. And you can tell a little excitement from the freshman right there, airmail and a little hitch route.
37-pound on average advantage. Offensive line Montana, defensive line Montana State. The other way around, things are pretty even. 3rd down and 9. With hand, with time, over the middle, the target, it's caught, and a terrific block, and that frees up Dan Hardy, check it, Greg Hardy, to get down to the 5-yard line. Stephen Bethley with the tackle.
I'm not sure if he's throwing that to Hardy or to the crosser. You're going to see a receiver coming that direction right there, and right there it ends up being a terrific block downfield by Kemps. And could have been called offensive pass interference there, but a great job of getting the ball into a big tight end's hands.
35-yard gain to one of the 12 seniors on this Montana roster, Greg Hardy. On 1st and goal. Smithwick hand back of the end zone, overshoots his intended receiver, Bryce Carver. He was open.
I would say this is absolutely an emotional throw right here. You're going to see double drags, and look at this man right here. All you got to do is lob it right back in that area. And the excitement of getting on the board, having this crowd erupt, got a little bit too much right there for him.
And beat Deontay Flowers on the play. Second down and goal from the 6. Handoff to Wynn, and nothing doing that time. He was laid out by Schreibeis at the 5. Jody Owens also in on the play for Montana State.
It looks like this defense is starting to settle down. They're a little bit on their heels on those initial plays, but they've started to settle down. They caught a break on that overthrow. We'll see how Smith McCann responds on third down here.
McCann, corner of the end zone. Incomplete. Ball batted away at the last moment by Stephen Bethley. Free safety. Very good coverage by the junior out of Chino, California. Intended receiver was Sam Gratton.
Yeah, guys, and I don't know if you'd see it from up there, but it sure looked like Smith McCann a little late with the football, trying to get it out to Gratton. In games like you've got to throw the football on time, but it also shows, I think, a little bit of a fear on Hand's part to not want to make a mistake. You know, wide open touchdown 2 times in that series, and both times couldn't deliver the football.
Extremely late, and that's a great point there, Jay. You know, he comes out of his break, and the ball's not in the air yet, and on this level, you got to make those plays or guys are going to recover.
Chris Slider, 23-yard field goal attempt is no good, so the Montana State defense holds after Montana had a first and goal from the 6-yard line as we remain scoreless in the brawl of the Wild. I understand, said there's one of your neck of the woods in the Denver area, an establishment called Brooklands. They've got Montana State and Montana fans watching that game together. Denarius McGee, first down. John Ellis with a reception. And Ellis out to the 29-yard line. 9-yard gain. Anthony Goodwin with the coverage for Montana.
See the nice outcut. The ball's low, but a nice job of going down with the hands. Look at that by Ellis on the outcut. Controls the ball.
John Ellis, 43 receptions coming into the game, leading the club with 5 TD catches. McGee with a little pressure as Josh Harris was coming in. McGee unable to connect with Cody Kirk.
That's a nice job. When the tackle goes away, you're going to see Josh Harris, collapse his backside and does a nice job attacking the quarterback. He doesn't leave his feet, doesn't fall for any shenanigans, but runs right through the quarterback, hurrying the throw by McGee.
So third down, a yard to go for Montana State. Whistles.
Going to be a false start on Quinn Catalano.
Catalano, the starting right guard, a 6'4" sophomore out of San Diego.
Boy, guys, that bails Montana State out because they would not have gotten that first down, but because it's a dead ball foul, they'll have to replay the down and they'll have another shot at it.
The referee today is Tom Frazier. We have not seen, to the best of my knowledge, and we're not sure if we will see, Tanner Bleskin, top wide receiver for Montana State, suffering a hip pointer last week in the win at home against Portland State. He was going through warm-ups, looked pretty good, but that really doesn't tell the entire story from our perspective. So hopefully Tanner Bleskin will be able to make an appearance in this game, the junior out of Great Falls.
We also have to take into account where they're headed next weekend. We got the playoffs looming. I mean, do you really want to risk having that guy be out of your lineup for multiple weeks?
So Bleskin out, additional stats today for Cruz Seawing and also Brian Flatketter. Third down and 6. McGee feeling the heat, still on his feet, but down he goes, well short of the first down. Good defense, Brock Coyle in on the play. John Canning got it.
Guys, you see this, you think they have an eye for Denarius McGee. As soon as he stepped up in the pocket, you saw a swarm of Grizzly defenders corral him. They knew where he had to get to. They were not about to let him escape too many tackles.
Well, Jay, I don't know if you saw, but he had Cruz Seawing on that little short in route on the other side, which would have been well enough for a first down.
Perez to punt away to win. It signals for a fair catch. Makes it at the 33-yard line. 8:23 left in the opening quarter here in Missoula. It is scoreless in the brawl of the Wild. Montana, not sure what does on this November day. Great to have you with us on Root Sports, 112th edition of the Brawl of the Wild. Second offensive possession for the Montana Grizzlies on first down. Smithwick hand with a pitch inside to Dan Moore, and the ball is fumbled. Montana State with the recovery, and the first mistake in the game made by Montana.
It's a double read option play. You can either pitch back or go forward. And he pitches it forward to Dan Moore, but you're going to watch Jody Owens come across in shadow. Just beats the block there. John Schmang gets to the play and strips that ball. Right there, comes up, fights off the block of number 74, John Schmang, and makes that play. And that's a huge play by the All-American.
And that ball was recovered by Cole Moore, one of the starting linebackers for Montana State. So a huge play. That's the second takeaway this season for Moore, who also has an interception on first down. McGee. Pressure coming, going deep for John Ellison. Overshoots him. Good coverage by Bo Tully for Montana.
That's a nice job by Bo Tully, not sucking up into the run. If you watch those first couple drives, he's one of the first secondary players up into the fray, getting in there, hitting guys, but doing a nice job reading his keys, staying back in that deep third.
Look at Bo Tully right there, a 6'2" junior out of Meade High School in Spokane. Leading his team with 2 interceptions this season, along with one of the starting quarterbacks, Sean Murray. And movement, it looks like, on the offensive line for the Bobcats. And that goes against John Widenauer, the starting left tackle, a redshirt freshman out of Twin Bridges High School, Twin Bridges, Montana. He started every game this season. Left side of that line, Jason Stiles is a young one with Widenauer and Gadecki, both redshirt freshmen.
Yeah, they had an opportunity early on to see what they had in these guys. Gadecki filling in for an injured Matt Devereaux early on. They've really done a much better job than people anticipated.
Second and 15, and wow, what a hit by Alex Beneman on the intended receiver, and a flag coming in on the play. We'll see if this goes against Beneman.
Guys, it's going to come when he threw the ball up in the air afterwards in celebration. That's where that flag came in, right after he did that.
Well, they're going to try to set the screen to Renzo Davis. You see him circle back in underneath, and a nice job of reading it by Beneman, and meets him right at the point of the football. And man, took his head off. And Jay, that's what I saw. It looked like it was a little bit helmet-to-helmet contact, but it's hard to say right there when that ball's in the air and two guys are going for it at the same time.
Well, and the flag came late enough that it's tough to tell if it was the celebration afterwards or that hit. But in a game like this, all sorts of emotions. There's not going to be a whole lot of guys holding back on opportunities to get one under the chin.
Saw Beneman pleading his case. Now Alex reaching out to the crowd to make some noise after the penalty. First down and 10. Montana State at the Montana 35. Handoff, and not much there for Lorenzo Davis. Maybe a yard. Brock Coyle in on the stop for the Grizzlies.
Coyle doing a nice job as you saw Davis start to stumble up. But right now, the front two, not even the front four with Wagaman and Harris, but Beneman and Takai are eating the line up, forcing double teams, which is allowing everybody to roam free and do a great job playing backers.
No gain on first down. McGee, Ellis, open. And Ellis down to the 26-yard line. Put a move on Joshua Denard.
And once again, we see an extra couple of yards when there's a DB right there to make the tackle. Denard's got to stop that play. But you see Tripp come in with the punch, trying to get that ball out, trying to create that turnover, get the ball back to his offense.
Third down and 1 coming up for the Bobcats. Wilson. Cody Kirk in the backfield with McGee. Not sure why the stoppage of play, but
well, the play clock was at zeros.
Again.
Play clock was at zeros. I guess they never reset
the play clock. It is rolling now at 15 seconds. Again, movement on the line. And look at Denarius McGee get right into the face of John Weidenauer. We saw the tight end Lee Perkins start to shift, and Weidenauer reacting to Perkins' movement, it appeared.
Well, this is something Coach Ash talked about is they were concerned with communication and understanding at their facility they have speakers, they could create all this noise, but when you get out here and all this energy's happening, it's hard to set in there. So as a quarterback, you want to work silent counts, quick counts, get them out of their stance, allow them to get out and hit somebody.
3 penalties in the game for Montana State. 3rd down. Open target. Flatketter does a terrific job hanging on to the football. That'll be a 1st down for Montana State. Joshua Denard with the coverage and the stop for the Grizzlies.
And Jace, what'd you like about this? Big body, and what's he do? He gets between the ball and the defenders, making that play.
Yeah, big security blanket for a quarterback when you got a big target like that in short yardage situations.
18th catch this season for Flatketter. McGee tucks it away. Canangata finishes off the play as McGee is dropped for a loss. Brock Coyle also there.
We talked about earlier on the same type of play. We saw Josh Harris maintain his ground coverage and stay on the ground, run through the quarterback. This time, Denarius makes him practice his jump shot. He gets up in the air. Lucky for him, Canangata and the rest of the corps was right behind him.
Second down and 10. Montana showing blitz. Here it comes. McGee with time, backside pressure, open target. And the football dropped inside the 10-yard line by John Ellis. Very good throw by McGee.
And this is a great bench route. You're going to see the nice end cut. He comes back out, gets back to the sideline, but takes his eye off a little bit. The one thing they're worried with or they're concerned about is that sun coming into that part of the field. When you turn back, you're looking right in the sun. But well-delivered ball, you've got to make that catch if you're Ellis.
Third down and 10. McGee, pressure up the middle. Keeping the play alive and throwing over his intended receiver, Cruz Seawing, at the 6-yard line. Although they did not complete that pass, guys, a great example of what Denarius McGee can do to keep a play going.
Absolutely, and they get Wagaman down at the defensive tackle spot. He shows a little bit too much quickness there for Gadecki, but McGee able to keep the play going, elongate the play, make a play, but overthrows the ball.
Roy Perez on for the field goal, 42 yards. He's 4 of 4 this season, between 40 and 49 with a long of 45. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Rory Perez splitting the uprights, and Montana State with the initial lead in the Brawl of the Wild with 5:22 left to play in the first quarter. Griz in front of the Cats, 7-3 as we get ready for the start of the second quarter. With Rory Perez on to punt for Montana State. Peter Wynn back deep to receive for the Grizzlies. High snap. Wynn instructing his teammates, get out of the way of the football. The ball will be down inside the 25-yard line as we take a look at our 4-game summary. Again, the 4-point lead for the Grizzlies. Third downs, and that's a very interesting stat. 1 of 5 Montana State offensively, and they came into this game second best in the Big Sky Conference at 53%. And look at the efficiency, 4 of 5 third downs converted for Montana. As Shea Smithwick-Hand brings his club to the line. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. Greg Hardy, the tight end, in motion. Off near sideline and forced out. Jordan Canada brought down by Darius Jones.
Looked like there was going to be nothing there. He just runs the edge and gets around Brad Daly to pick up a few good yards. I mean, that play looked dead from the start.
Well, instead, another missed tackle by Joe Fuller right at the point of attack. Jordan Canada just beat it with speed.
7-yard gain, 2nd down and 3. Canada short of the 1st down. Brad Daly with the stop. Junior out of Helena's Capital High School. 19 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery the last 4 games for Daly. Third down and a yard. Smithwick-Hand on the keeper. Lunges forward out to the 35, and it's a 1st down for Montana. 2-yard pickup for Smithwick-Hand.
Does just enough. I mean, you watch him, you're like, oh, this guy's not athletic, but he understands what he needs to get. He makes a good decision, gets upfield, picks up the 1st down, and was outflanked out there on the edge. But the linebacker made a good choice.
The Bass sideline. Bryce Carver with the reception. Jody Owens, Darius Jones in on the stop.
What a great block by senior tight end and the co-captain Greg Hardy to spring that one. That's what you need on those bubble screens. Just need one block to get that 6-7 yards. That's the reason why they have a big fella out there.
6-yard gain, 1st catch today for Carver. Smithwick-Hand. Maybe a yard on that play. Daly, one of the Bobcats there. Schreibeis as well. Also number 23, Jody Owens. Look at some of the Montana State defensive numbers, where they rank in the Big Sky Conference. Rushing yards allowed at 88.8. Well, Peter Wynn had 88 in the 1st quarter all by himself. Hand off to Canada right up the middle. 1st down. Montana, Jody Owens with the tackle.
And that is every bit of John Schmang, Hendrickson, Kelby Orland, William Pales, and Kistler just dominating up front. And there is absolutely 0 penetration coming from the Bobcats.
Out to Cam Warren, and nothing doing that time. James Andrews, backup cornerback, making the stop. A senior out of Rockwall, Texas.
And that is the way you tackle in the open field. He closed the gap, didn't allow for much space from the receiver. Watch him get up in his face early, shimmies, and gets him down to the ground early. That's a nice play.
Handoff Wynn. Nowhere to go. Schreibeis with the tackle.
Guys, one of the few times we've seen Montana now in 3rd and long situation. They've really been able to control things up front and get some good gains on 1st and 2nd down to open up that playbook. But this is where Montana State makes their money. This is where Caleb Schreibeis can pin his ears back and get after with those 11 sacks.
3rd down and 11. Plenty of ball back of the way, caught by an offensive lineman. That was William Pales. Flags on the play. Smithwick-Hand hit as he was throwing the football.
Yeah, they're thinking it's going to be illegal touching. Now they'll talk about it to determine whether it was a fumble or an actual forward pass.
It's got to be a fumble.
Frazier, our referee today. Take a look and see who got to Smithwick hand.
It's right off the inside edge. I believe it was Brian Bignell, number 99, with the pressure.
Senior out of Helena, who has 5 sacks this season, nearly got his 6th. Stephen Shaw on to punt. Sean Johnson back deep to receive for the Bobcats. Johnson trying to break a couple of tackles and then brought down. Flags on the field. Nate Harris with the tackle. Number 11. Good special teams coverage for Nate. No flag on the play. Timeout here at Washington Grizzlies Stadium. When we come back, Denarius McGee will have his Bobcat offense back on the field. Let us know at 733-733. About the last 4 years, the temperature had been trending down under 10 degrees last season. Happy to say we do not have that today. Cody Kirk finally brought down by Sean Murray out near the 27-yard line. Gain of about 5. Warmest temperature ever for a Brawl of the Wild. We won't get there. 67 degrees. Coldest morning temperature of a game day, -5. Game time temperature 2 degrees, and in 79 they had 5 inches of snow. Second down and 5. McGee going for Flockketter, makes a nice adjustment on the football as he beats Murray on the play. Again, out to the 41-yard line. 14-yard pickup for Montana State.
And you see how early McGee throws his football. It's just a basic back shoulder route and a good job of being on the same page with your quarterback by Flockketter.
Cody Kirk stacked up. Now McGee's a blocker. Oh, terrific ankle tackle by Sean Murray as he brings Cody Kirk down, but a good pickup on first down for the Bobcats.
Something that they haven't been able to do.
Some of our early trivia results in. Now I guessed 29 degrees, which seems plenty cold enough. Second down and 4. And again, flags.
Hey guys, Trey Robinson flinched from that. And Denarius McGee, the last few weeks, I've seen him much more demonstrative with his teammates on the field. If there's a missed block, these false starts, you can tell the frustration's getting to him a little bit. But again, set a guy off the ball, no reason for him to be jumping, and a little twitch sends him back 5 yards.
6 penalties for 30 yards for Montana State. Denarius McGee, 8 of 14 for 73 yards. Second down and 9. Low snap. McGee swings it out. Football dropped by Trey Robinson. Timing off right at the start on that play with that low snap. So third down coming up.
And this play, bad throw here, but you're going to watch big number 55 pull out, John Weidenauer. You're going to see him set and then go on the screen. Watch what Kanangana does to him. Big man. Not today. I mean, he's giving up a lot of size and weight right there. Just hits him, catches him right in the chin.
Montana State 1 of 5 on third down conversions. Looking at 3rd and 9. McGee with time, with a target. Flockketter with a catch. First down, Montana State. Matt Hermanson with a tackle for the Grizzlies.
This is the problem when you run zone, underneath zone. Flockketter's going to run into this area. You're going to see him wrap around the linebacker, Jordan Tripp, who runs too wide and is not really looking up the back. You're going to see Tripp pass by. There's the window, and a well-delivered ball on time by McGee.
16-yard gain on the play. And territory. Cody Kirk and nowhere to go. Tonga Takai, number 95. There to bring Kirk down. Tonga is 6'2", 301-pound sophomore out of Waipahu, Hawaii. 2 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries this season. Injured that left elbow 2 weeks ago at Weber State. Thought that might be a serious one, but he actually returned to that game and is doing well. Loss of a yard, 2nd down and 11. McGee looks right, going for Floodketter, and he has the catch inside the 25-yard line as he beats Anthony Goodwin on the play. And Brian Floodketter with his 4th catch here in the first half.
Well, once again, a great opportunity for Denarius McGee to step into the throw. Montana's not been able to make him uncomfortable in the pocket all that time. And he's going to be able to deliver strikes, and especially these big receivers. Floodketter finding that open spot in the zone once again.
26-yard gain. McGee 10 of 17, 115 yards.
Wildcat
formation. Snap to Kirk. Drives down near the 15, hauled down by Alex Beneman. Junior out of Denver, as we head down to the field and connect with Jen Mueller. Hey, Jen.
Well, Tom, you were talking about the weather earlier today. I think it was about 47 when we got here to the stadium, but now the entire Montana State sideline is in the shade. It's dropped at least 5 degrees in the last 20 minutes, and we're seeing guys go for hand warmers, although compared to last week's conditions, it's probably still downright balmy for the Cats.
Last week at home against Portland State, a game time temperature of 12 with a wind chill of -4. So this is a vast improvement. McGee out of the shotgun. Blitz coming, picked up nicely, wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, Montana State, Cruz Seawing. Second touchdown catch on the season for Cruz Seawing. Had his first last week in the blowout victory against Portland State, and the guy they were looking to go to a little bit more today, said because of the injury issue with Bleskin.
And once again, they go back to the corner route. The defensive backs cannot handle the receivers. They're given too much space, but right there's a pass off. The safety doesn't get the transfer. And wide open on the corner route is Cruz Seawing.
Alex Beneman shaken up on the play. Looks like it might be in. I thought at first he was maybe favoring his right arm or right shoulder, but that may not be the case as Rory Perez comes on for the extra point following the 16-yard touchdown pass. Darius McGee to Cruz Seawing. For Darius McGee, touchdown pass number 21 on the season. Has thrown a touchdown pass in every game he has played, with one exception, and that was 2 weeks ago at Sac State. Perez with the extra point and the 10-7 lead for the second-rated team in the nation, Montana State, as Darius McGee had time and had a wide-open Cruz Seawing to connect with. Leading their arch rivals, the Montana Grizzlies, 10-7. A.J. Silver with the kickoff. Taken by Gerald Kemp at the 5. Full head of steam for Kemp. Knocked down around the 28-yard line. Good tackle that time by Michael Foster. Right now, let's check in with Brad Adam at the Ford Sports Desk.
Well, Tom, thank you very much.
Brad, thanks so much. First down and 10 for the Griz. Smithwick hand with a completion. Out across the 35-yard line. He connects with Sam Gratton. Take a look at the standings in the conference. On this final week of league play, Montana State, Cal Poly, Eastern Washington, Northern Arizona, all tied up. Cal Poly at NAU today. And Eastern Washington on the road to face Portland State. So within a few hours, it'll all be settled. See who shares the Big Sky Conference title.
tell you, Eastern Washington's really dug themselves a hole the last few weeks. Last week at home, falling down to UC Davis and having to come back in the second half, and already down 13. And Portland is a big surprise, especially after the way Portland showed up in Bozeman.
That's starting center for Montana, Kelby Oyland. Plays center, and Hines did a very good job, said at Weber State in the game that we had filling in for Kelby.
He really did, and that's a position they're not really concerned with. Not that Kelby Oyland isn't the starter and the leader on that team, but Hines did a terrific job at Weber State.
Second down and a yard. And a first down for the Grizzlies out to the 40-yard line. Peter Wynn adds to his rushing total today.
I'd like to see Joe Fuller in that type of position right there, getting up, filling that hole early. Even though Wynn picked up the first down, Fuller is active and into the lane early.
It's a lateral trick play. Hardy throwing the pass and throwing it away in the area of Ellis Henderson.
And this is just a smart play. Really had nothing to do. Deontay Flowers stays at home, but you knew something was afoot when Hardy was behind the line of scrimmage catching the ball. You see Flowers, deeper than the deepest, did a nice job of staying home on that trick play.
Second down and 10. I think we'll see another trick play or two before this one is over. And off to Wynn. Busting it around the right edge. Flag on the play. Bethley making the tackle for Montana State. Possibly a face mask as Peter Wynn north of 90 yards rushing today.
Holding, 23, offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Cam Warren with a holding penalty.
Tough call there. You see the speed of Schreibeis, Bethley. I mean, those guys were running down, and they left a lot later than Peter Wynn did. They were able to track him down across the field. This team has such great lateral speed. Talking about the Bobcats, it's hard to go lateral.
Schreibeis and Zach Wagaman coming into this game, co-leaders in sacks in the Big Sky Conference with 11 each. Second and long. Not much there for Montana's Gerald Kemp. Darius Jones with the tackle.
Brings up a third and short, but since Kemp has worked his way back into the lineup, he's been a real contributor on special teams. You see there using his big physical presence as a receiver. Got to find ways to get that young man the ball.
Became eligible for the Idaho State game, so played against Idaho State and Weber State. Third and 11. Smithwick hand buys some time. Out to Joey Counts. And Counts near the 45-yard line, but well short of a Montana first down, and the punt team will come on for the Grizzlies.
It's a good job of not losing any yards, and now it's a situation where you're going to try to bang it out for some field position.
Second punt coming up for Stephen Shaw, his first one, covering 34 yards with Sean Johnson to receive for the Bobcats, standing at his 15-yard line. Johnson last week with a punt return for a touchdown. This time signals for the fair catch and makes it at the 13-yard line. Jenny Kavnar has a special guest. Jenny?
Special indeed, the governor of Montana, Governor Schweitzer, with me. Now, you're finishing your second term here in a couple weeks, so I think that's why you're now allowed to wear the Bobcat jersey. You do not have to be reelected. Is that the deal?
I always wear Bobcat. Both Nancy and I, my wife, we're Bobcats. Win or lose, we're with the Bobcats.
As an alumni, you're allowed to do that. Now, you've seen 8 of these games. How great is it for the state of Montana?
It's a great rivalry, and this goes back over 100 years. And it doesn't matter what your record is. When the Bobcats and Grizzlies play, everything's off the table. These kids started in 3rd grade as Grizzlies or Bobcats. They played against each other in mock games their entire life, and now it's for real.
Well, I'm going to let you enjoy your last Cat Grizz game as the governor. But before we go, I mean, any special announcements for the future we might want to make here on Root Sports now that you're you're done with your governor terms? Maybe 2016, anything coming up?
We're going to take some time at the lake. That's all I'm going to tell you.
All right, thanks, Governor, so much for joining us. Tom?
Jenny, thanks so much. Is that a link possibly in Iowa? Probably not. He's done a really outstanding job as governor of the Treasure State. Darius McGee going deep. And John Ellis open and beating Sean Murray by about a step. Third down coming up for the Bobcats.
Hey, Jason, does it look to you like the receivers are open for the Bobcats, like the secondary is having problems in coverage back here for the Grizzlies?
Well, I think as much as anything, the secondary has been tight for about the first 3 seconds, but there's been no pass rush whatsoever up front for Montana in the last 2 series.
Good look at Josh Harris, one of 2 defensive starters, actually 2 defensive players in the 2 deep for that Montana defense. Third down and 10. McGee. Time in the pocket, going for Bluskin, and Tanner unable to bring it in. Fourth down coming up. John Canangata with the coverage for the Grizzlies. A very good job at the struggles on third down continuing today for Montana State. Now just 2 of 7.
If you're Bluskin there, you've got to continue to work off that route to run away from coverage. You see he settles in the hole instead of accelerating out of it. And after that ball was thrown out in front of him, he stops, the ball goes incomplete.
Keep in mind that hip pointer could also be affecting his ability to accelerate out of that break.
Fourth punt coming up for Perez. He's averaged 40. Peter Wynn drifting back inside his 40. Beats Trey Robinson. Has some room. A nice return by Peter Wynn into Montana State territory at the Bobcats' 45-yard line. Multi-dimensional player, top 10 in a number of categories in his career at Montana. Peter Wynn. Connecting from 42 yards, Rory Perez, and then the first touchdown of the game, Peter Wynn, 47 yards with 2:04 left in the first quarter, and Montana had the 7-3 lead, but the response coming here in the second quarter. Denarius McGee, 16-yard connection to a wide open Cruz Sea-Wing, and that's where we stand. 10-7, Cats over the Griz with 5:08 left to play in the first half in the 112th edition of the Brawl of the Wild. Montana on first down, and a 5-yard loss on the play. The carry by Canada and the tackle by Darius Jones.
Darius Jones doing a nice job of fighting off what's supposed to be a block. Not a good effort. Bad angle taken coming down inside by Mitch Saylor. You got to get flat. Get your head across the defender's face and make your block.
Second down and 15. Smithwick hand 11 of 14 passing. Griz keep it on the ground to Canada. Gets the 5 yards back and a yard or 2 more. 7-yard gain on the play. That'll bring up third down and 8.
I think Mitch Saylor got the message, because this last play here, he takes Joe Fuller. Did you see that?
Yeah, 3 yards into the sideline over here.
Watch yourself over there, man. Don't get hurt.
I'm an athlete.
Third down and 8 for Montana at the Bobcats' 43-yard line. Smithwick reset himself, and down he goes. Big Brian Big Nell with the tackle. Fourth down coming up for the Grizzlies. Nicely done by number 99.
Really was a good job of just continuing to fight. He gets double teamed and fights off it. Once again, Joe Fuller having a hard time of wrapping guys up and finishing plays. Big Nell finishes it up for him.
Third punt of the game coming up for Stephen Shaw. He's averaged 38 on the first 2. Johnson back at his 10-yard line. Signals for the fair catch and makes it around the 5 or 6-yard line. So not really good field position coming up for getting an extra day in Missoula, or are you able to go home? First down and 10. McGee finds time with a rollout. Intended receiver was John Ellis. Coverage by Bo Tully.
And that end zone got really loud down there. Defensive end, Wagaman's waving the tackles, moving early, but Bo Tully has really done a nice job. He hasn't had a lot of tackles, doesn't have any picks, but he's everywhere he's supposed to be in help coverage and in his lanes.
McGee 11 of 22, 131 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Remember, this is a secondary that was torched not that long ago in North Dakota. 660 yards allowed through the air. McGee off the fake, trying to set up a screen, in trouble, and throws the football away.
Weidenauer standing a yard over the line of scrimmage. That should be illegal for a eligible man downfield, but they're trying to set the throwback screen. You see Arenzo Davis pop back out, but look at Wagaman's awareness on that backside. Shuts it down.
Good job.
He's not just a pass rusher, man. He is a complete football player. For a sophomore, very heady.
Good job on that play also by Beneman and Josh Harris. 3rd down and 10. And this is where it gets really difficult to communicate. 3rd down conversions, 2 of 7 for the Bobcats. McGee in some trouble. Unloads. Let's see if this is called intentional grounding.
Trey Robinson was right there. They can't make that call.
So the Bobcats.
Intentional grounding, number 7 was in there.
Trey Robinson's going to circle out of the backfield and end up right here, and that's why there will be no call on this. Even though he swung around, it could be questioned if it got back to the line of scrimmage now, but that wasn't an issue.
That's your opinion. Now there's 26,000 Grizzly fans here that really are not agreeing with your perspective.
I'm in here giving my opinion. If I was out there amongst them, I might think differently of it.
Roy Perez on for his 5th punt. Win at the Bobcat 45. Signaled for the fair catch. It was just one swipe of the arm, but it was clear. Coming up at halftime, we'll get you back. Brad, it is under serious consideration, no doubt about it, and no doubt Montana State was ready for that running play as Peter Wynn goes down, and he is slow getting up.
Well, guys, if you look where Montana has struggled in the last several series, Montana State has started to really bottle things up on 1st down. Think back to earlier in this half. A lot of big 1st down plays, big 1st down runs to loosen that defense up. They have not allowed that in the last several series. That D-line starting to get in a little bit of rhythm for the Bobcats.
2nd down after the loss on the play of 4. Jordan Canada. Zach Minner out there. Namoy Akiola, number 2. The lead tackler for the Bobcats. Let's get a good look at Jordan Canada's had a very fine season, a 5'9" sophomore out of Duarte, California. South Hills High School came into the game with 550 yards rushing. Again, helped pick up the slack when Dan Moore went down with the ankle injury at Eastern Washington. And Schreibice got a hand on that pass attempt by Smithwick Hand. 4th down coming up for the Griz.
Just running the circle flat route, and Schreibice doing a good job, as much like we saw Wagaman. Schreibice realized he's not going to get there. What does he do? Gets a big hand up.
Not had a sack in this game. A bit surprising. We've got 2 of the best in the country when it comes to getting to the opposing quarterback. Montana with 39 sacks on this season. Montana State with 34 sacks. That's number 2 in the conference behind the Griz. At Montana, 4 sacks per game average. That is number 2 in FCS.
Well, I think Jay, you were talking about the Bobcats front starting to make waves, and you talked about that weight difference, and maybe there's a little bit of conditioning issue with the big guys up front from Montana.
Well, as big as they are, and we talked about that early in the season, to keep that tempo being 6'7", 325, 330 throughout the game can be challenging. But the other thing that I think has been very effective for the Bobcats is, for the most part, they're just rushing with force. They're able to drop 7 guys back into the secondary and allow them to run to the football.
Take a look at that Montana State defense. Some of the numbers. Jamie Marshall, their defensive coordinator. I mean, they came into this game, guys, second in the Big Sky, fewest points allowed, 22.3 per game. Their total defense, number 1 in the conference. Pass defense, number 2. Run defense, number 1. Although that's been exploited today. That number's getting skewed by Peter Wynn. But all in all, they've been outstanding. And same story for the Montana defense as well. And that's why we've got a 10-7 ball game with 1:50 left to play in the first half. Shaw on for a punt. Gets it up high. Sean Johnson's just going to get out of the way, and it takes a Montana State bounce. The Bobcats get a break. They will mark that out at the 18-yard line as we return to the Ford Sports Desk. And Brad Banks, Cody Kirk, not much room. Jordan Tripp in on the stop, number 37. Also down at the bottom of that pile, Josh Harris.
Everybody forgets because Montana has had a tough time with it defensively, but they're second ranked in the conference versus the run. Top 10 in the country versus the run. Very stout up front.
Pass to Tanner Bleskin. Tanner has his first catch in the game. Dealing with a hip pointer, suffered last week at home against Portland State. Good to see Tanner make a reception, his 55th on the season. Averaging 77 yards per game receiving. That's 4th best in the Big Sky. Third down, it's been a struggle. 2 of 8 for Montana State this afternoon. McGee with time, open target. Ellis with a reception and drilled out of bounds at the 45-yard line by Matt Hermanson, and that may be an additional 15 yards tacked onto the play.
And Sean Murray tries to bait Denarius McGee into this throw, gets him to throw it, and still doesn't make the play. He is expecting the throw. They run what's called the smash route or China route.
Tom Frazier is our referee. John Ellis is down on the Montana State sideline.
Personal foul, targeting defenseless player, number 12, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Let's talk about the route first, the combination. You got a short route and a corner route. Goodwin baits him in the baits him in the throw, just doesn't go get the ball. And then to talk about this player right here, he's not defenseless. He is bobbling the ball. You're trying to separate the ball, more of a push out of bounds. Very tough call.
Do you think that call was made, though? And Jason, I'm not sure the angle you had, the helmet-to-helmet contact.
I was right on top of it. That's just a football play, guys.
First down after the gain on the play and the penalty. McGee. Here's sideline Bleskin with a catch at the 30. Near a Montana State first down. Clock rolling with 46 seconds left in the first half.
And they're destroying the zone by Montana.
Rob Ash calling for a timeout for his Bobcats. 2 timeouts remaining for Montana State. Montana also with 2 as we take a look at the career numbers for the winningest quarterback in Montana State history. Denarius McGee, a record of 28-7, has started every game he's been a part of. Look at the career passing yardage, over 8,600, 69 career passing touchdowns. That is the most in school history. And there's more to come next season when Denarius McGee will be a senior.
Well, you think about the 35 games. He's thrown touchdowns in 34 of those games. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, he's had a terrific career and has really just evolved and grown up in this offense. So he's learned how to utilize all of his skills, and they allow him the freedom to do a lot of different things out there.
I think one of the most impressive things about Denarius is from the time he was a freshman, just stepped right into the lineup and played his best ball in the biggest games. And certainly this year, a lot has been expected of him. Turned the ball over early in the season a little bit more than they would like, but he's come on and really been the guy they all wanted him to be. And so much on your shoulders when you're that guy in Bozeman, Montana. But I tell you, he welcomes it. He's got a smile on his face everywhere he goes, and nothing would make him happier than he can get the ball in the end zone here at the end of the first half.
22 touchdown passes on the season, 8 interceptions. Denarius McGee driving his team on 2nd and short. A shuttle pass to Cody Kirk, and he's shy of the first down. Harrison Wagenman snuffed that out. And another timeout taken by the Bobcats. They have 1 remaining.
The Grizzlies, excuse me, Tom, are giving Cody Kirk a rough welcome back to the Missoula area. He has not been welcomed back here this afternoon.
You know, Cody, you mentioned he kind of got out of here, got away from Frenchtown, 15 miles west of Missoula, but grew up in a Montana State family, so it wasn't a big stretch for him to go. Number 37, Jordan Tripp, to see Jordan right there in the shot. He and Cody played Little Griz football together. They were teammates, and so what a thrill it must be each time they meet in this Brawl of the Wild, and they'll do it one more time next year. Cody a junior, Jordan a junior, and very good friends. The families are close. That's part of what makes a rivalry like this special. Those connected families who, again, for one afternoon, got to go about their own business, pull for their sons and their teams, and then afterwards, they'll be out at the tailgate.
It's amazing when you think about all the stories like that over the years that have not been told in this rivalry. It's an amazing rivalry.
Jordan went to Big Sky High School in Missoula, and Cody went to Frenchtown High School. 3rd very short. Hand off to Kirk, and he'll have the first down with 28 seconds remaining in the half. Montana State quickly back to the line of scrimmage.
They'll try to kill the ball here. They don't want to save that timeout.
And McGee does exactly that. So 25 seconds remaining in the half. Bobcat men's basketball is back at 2012-2013.com. 2nd down. McGee pressure up the middle, in trouble. The first sack of the game will go to Montana as McGee is dropped. Takai in there, also Zach Wagenman, and we'll have to find out who gets credit for that sack or if it will be a shared sack as Montana State takes its final timeout here in the first half.
And this is just a coverage sack. I mean, it just takes too long. The pocket collapses. You're going to see Wagenman run the stunt inside. See the inside charge right there. He's not able to get home at that point, but a good job of hanging on to the ball. That's just too long, and Denarius' eyes got taken off of his receivers downfield.
Team sack leaders in FCS, Harvard leading the way by 1 over Montana. Montana State 6 behind. Third down coming up. 17 seconds left in the half. Montana State out of timeouts. McGee, pressure coming, blindside, unloads. Intercepted at the 5-yard line. Matt Hermanson with the pick for the Griz with 10 seconds remaining in the first half. So a huge play for Hermanson.
Turn him away with no points. Excellent job. Hermanson coming off of the middle of the field, coming off his hash. He's right here, but he's going to read the eyes and come all the way across the field. And now, what's wrong with that throw? It's thrown too far inside the hash mark. If he throws it up that right hash, you've got Coyle trying to run with Lorenzo Davis. He gets it up early on that hash. He might have a shot, but a nice job by Hermanson.
Second interception this season for Matt Hermanson, a sophomore out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Smithwick hand takes the knee, and that will take care of the first half here in Missoula. The 112th Brawl of the Wild has been a defensive struggle as the first half comes to an end. Our score, Montana State 10, Montana 7. Let's get you to our Ford Sports Desk where Brad
at the Root Sports Big Sky Plays of the Year.
Let's go, baby!
Bowman, the cutback, still on his feet. Bowman, he'll take it to the house. A terrific catch by John Ellis. Upended, touchdown. Going deep, wide open, right down the middle, touchdown. Going deep, Harden with a catch midfield. Harden again. Harden will take it to the house. Blocked, loose football in the end zone. Over the middle, it's picked off. Weaver, and still on his feet. A man on a mission. Fumbles it. Right away, a statement made. Jump ball, terrific catch. Lorenzo Davis still on his feet. Davis at the 40. To the top, Norris, and he's got it. Norris takes it to the house. Intercepted. In the room with the blocking. With 6 points. And still on his feet.
And now we resume our scheduled program.
Thank you for listening.
More
Just tailgate before the game and after the game. You tailgate mid-game, and these are fans making their way back to Washington Grizzlies Stadium from their halftime tailgating for the second half between number 2 Montana State and the Montana Grizzlies. Seth Bonner and Tom Glasgow with us. Great to have you with us as the Cats have the 3-point lead at halftime, 10-7. Let's talk about Denarius McGee, the quarterback for Montana State. And your thoughts on his performance, Seth, in the first half?
I thought he did a nice job. Struggled late in the half, but did a nice job in recognition, getting the balls to his guys' hands. Really understood what was happening defensively and got the ball out early, allowed his receivers to make plays, but had the one turnover late. You see the good in cut. All these things went away towards the end of that half as he catches Cruz Seawing on the corner route. But with his understanding of this offense, they struggled coming down. They had a couple opportunities to really take a hold of this game, but they weren't able to put any points up, and they struggled late.
Denarius 15 of 29, 1 interception, 1 touchdown, 166 yards passing. A huge first quarter on the ground for Peter Wynn of Montana. Things slowed down a bit in the second half. For more on that, our on-field analyst, Jason Stiles. Terrific start for the senior, Jason. I know we'd like to get back into that first quarter groove in the third quarter.
Well, yeah, we talked about the trenches being a big key. Montana came out very hyped up, but I think as the game settled in, you started to see that Montana State defense really take hold. 88 yards for Peter Wynn in that first quarter. A lot of open space, made some guys miss. But as the game settled in that second quarter, just 4 yards rushing, and you started to really see that take effect on first down. When they didn't get yards on first down, they put themselves in long yard situations. That puts the ball in Shea Smithwick's hands, and he did not capitalize. They're going to have to either reestablish that run game up front or tell Shea Smithwick's hand that he is going to be the guy that has to get it done. I don't think they want to put that pressure on the freshman, so they're going to rely on those big fellas up front, Tom said.
Let's take a look, Jason, at the stats from the first half. And you know, what I think is so important in this game is what is taking place on third downs. And Montana State coming in second best in the conference, 53% clip, just 4 of 11 in the first half. Conversely, Shea Smithwick and his offense have converted on 6 of 11 thirds. So I think that's going to be an important stat set as we move on to the second half and keeping tabs on.
It really will. It's kind of a role reversal there you saw in the stats, but second half the Bobcats are going to have to come out and really get Cody Kirk established, utilize that running game, putting the ball up 30 times in the first half, not their type of game. And for Montana, Shea Smithwick is going to have to make some plays with his arm. He's going to not be able to miss guys that are open. He's got to make plays if they want to win the game.
And Jason, as we look at the last 5 games in this series, the clubs have averaged a combined 40-plus points. The defensive struggles so far today. Do we expect to see more of that in the third and fourth quarter?
Well, I think you start to see things open up a little bit. You talked about the number of trick plays. I think both teams have gotten their bag. It's all for naught if you're Montana. This is your last game. You want to spoil the Big Sky Championship for the Bobcats. Bobcats, you're going to let it all hang out, and whether it's Chase Smith-Wickhand, whether it's somebody else that's throwing the ball, but I think turnovers will be a big key here in this second half as well. Guys are really going to be trying to get that ball loose.
And that third quarter kickoff is coming up. It's the 112th edition of the Brawl of the Wild. Great to have you with us on this. Number 2, Montana State looking to end a 2-game skid to Montana in the Brawl of the Wild at 10-7. Bobcats lead as we get ready for the third quarter, and as we send it down to the sideline, Jen Mueller caught up with Montana State head coach Rob Ash.
Well, Tom, the focus for the Bobcats in the second half, find a way to get the ground game going on offense. Rob Ash was not happy with the rush yards in the first half and noted that if they don't come up with an answer quickly, a one-dimensional team will be awfully easy for Montana to stop. He was also surprised by the penalties across the offensive line. It's something that they'd worked on in practice this week. He said it wasn't so much focus as nerves and jitters. We will see the defense on the field first as Montana gets the ball to start the second half. For more on the Grizzlies halftime focus, it's Jenny Kavnar.
Thanks, Jen. I talked with head coach Mick Delaney. He said the message was simple. Finish the drill. This is what we've been working on all season long. This is the end of the season for the Grizzlies. He thought they had excellent play in the first half, minus a couple penalties that they really shot themselves in the foot with. That's their focus this second half offensively. He said first down is going to be key for us. We need to get in more of a rhythm so we can utilize our pass and our run game. We'll see how it plays out for the second half. Tom, we'll send it back to you.
Jenny, thanks so much. Last season when these two teams met in Bozeman at Bobcat Stadium, number 1 in the country, Montana State losing to Montana 36-10. And you know they'd like to return the favor here today, along with protecting that national ranking of number 2 and trying to win a piece at the Big Sky Championship. A.J. Silva to kick off. We are underway, the second half of the Brawl of the Wild. Deciding to bring the football out for Montana is Ellis Henderson, and Henderson getting out just about the 19-yard line as we take a look at the first half possessions for the Montana Grizzlies, and an offense led by number 19 Shea Smith-Wickhand. The fumble by Dan Moore. Plenty of punts, and obviously an issue that Montana is going to have to work with, finalizing drives. They got down on their first possession down to the 6-yard line of Montana State. Not only could not get it into the end zone on a first and goal from the 6, but missed a short field goal. Wickhand fakes the pitch, nowhere to go. Schreibice brings him down at the 20-yard line, along with some help from outside linebacker Jody Owens.
It's tough to see Smith-Wickhand running the option here. Schreibice comes off and kind of slow plays it, but either you got to pitch or you got to turn up and go. You can't allow them to slow the play down and string it out. That's why the big guys are able to come out and make plays.
And off to Jordan Cannon. Much room there. Moe Akiola driving it back down to the 15-yard line. And a good defensive start here in the third quarter for the Bobcats.
And that's what you call finishing the drill. See Canada breaks off a defender, but Moe Akiola just runs him down and stays with it. He runs right through the block of the big guard there.
6 of 11 on third down conversions. The Grizzlies offense, Smith-Wickhand has a reception out to Gerald Kemp, and a first down for Montana, a gain of 17 yards.
Utilizing the back shoulder to the big guy, and since Kemp has come onto the lineup, and whether it be special teams, he's been a major contributor. We talked about him earlier, but a nice job adjusting to the back shoulder throw. Good delivery there by Smith-Wickhand.
Third catch this season for Kemp. Of course, just his third game this season. Sam Gratton resetting himself. And off to Wynn. Going to find a hole on the left side of that line, and not much there as he gets out to the 40-yard line. Caleb Schreibice with a stop for Montana State.
It'll be interesting to see if on first down Montana comes out and tries to mix up the ratio of run and pass. A lot of running on first down. They've had some success, but you also want to give Smith-Wickhand the best opportunity.
Smith-Wickhand will fade around and Looked like there was a hold on Darius Jones. And you can hear the reaction from the Montana fans, but no call on the play. Kemp, the intended receiver.
There's, without question, pass interference there. You're going to see DJ grab a hold of the jersey right there as Kemp does a swim move to go over. Darius Jones grabs him right here, slows down the progress.
Big break for Montana State and Darius Jones. Third down, wide open. Hardy, first down and more. And Hardy down near the 45-yard line of Montana State. It's a big target, very talented target, and Greg Hardy, 6'5", 245 senior out of Fairview, Montana. Fairview High School came into the game with 25 catches. Wynn with room, breaks a tackle inside the 30 and down to the 26-yard line. Peter Wynn, nice pickup.
What's changed is the tempo from that offensive line as you see Big Dan Moore gets back in the game. But once again, there's another missed tackle on the edge here. Right there, Jones has a chance to bring him down for a short gain. Can't make the play.
Well, set 3 straight plays now. Darius Jones on the play. Pass interference that didn't get called. He was the man responsible, and Hardy's flat when he had the big gain, and then that missed tackle right here.
111 yards rushing for Peter Wynn. Smithwick hand. And not quite sure what that was all about. Bryce Carver, I guess, just an outlet with Smithwick hand in some trouble on the near sideline.
It's kind of the lesser of two evils. You either take it back or let the other guy get hit. Get back to the line of scrimmage.
Bryce Carver with the catch. No gain on the play. Second down. Opening drive here in the third quarter. Dan Moore driving down to the 20-yard line. Darius Jones and Joel Fuller making the stop on the senior out of Tucson, missing 5 games this season with a high ankle sprain suffered at Eastern Washington.
Look at him just pound for yards. And
guys, he hobbled off the field after that run too. That might be it.
Well, he was tackled down around the ankles. I'm sure that didn't help the situation out.
Took the helmet off, as you saw, as he hit the sideline on third down. Smithwick hand trying to keep the drive alive, flushed out of the pocket, and throws it away.
It's outside the tackle box, and a good job of not losing yards and giving special teams a chance to put points on the board. But once again, we see the Montana State defense bending but not breaking.
Chris Snyder coming on for the field goal try. Missed earlier in the game from 23 yards. Snyder 3 of 5 against Weber State, so maybe not as dialed in as he'd like to be. This one from about 38 yards. Snyder's kick, again missing to the right. That's about the same distance he missed on in terms of width to that right upright on that first field goal attempt. So the Grizzlies leaving 6 points off the board on a pair of missed field goals by the redshirt freshman.
Talking about a guy that's 15 and 19 coming into this game, has missed 2 field goals. I mean, it's tough, and he's just hooking a little bit, but there's really no pressure. Just gets on it, hooks it around that right, or to the outside of that right upright.
Chris with a drink of water and certainly hoping he'll have a chance to redeem himself before this game is over. Kadarius McGee, Montana State's offense on the field for the first time here in the third quarter, and nothing doing as Cody Kirk is driven back by Benneman. Tripp, Coyle also there. No gain on the play. Montana State rushing in this game, 14 carries, 24 yards.
And right here they got Benneman in a flex right here, which gives him all type of range. They don't know where he's going, but you see him stand the guard up and play off. And what athleticism for a big dude, man. 300 pounds, play that like a linebacker.
McGee looking for Flodketter, overshoots it. Matt Hermanson pulling up.
That's a smart play by Hermanson right there. Understanding the situation, no chance for a catch. If he hits that receiver, that's an automatic first down. They're going to give him that call. Smart play by Hermanson.
Well, you remember late in the first half, it was Hermanson with that hit on the sideline, 15 yards, but he was able to redeem himself with the interception to deny Montana State late in the first half. 3rd down and 10. As we head toward darkness here in Missoula. McGee has a target and has a first down. It's Trey Robinson. Not called his name much, but he is a real receiving threat for the Bobcats. 29 catches coming into the game, 3rd best on the team, and a pickup on that play of 10 yards. And Montana State with a fresh set of downs out to the 30-yard line.
Just a great route by Robinson on the slant.
McGee to Seawing. Dropped after a gain of 4 at the 35-yard line. Canning got it, and Anthony Goodwin in on the stop for Montana.
Talked about Coach Ash doesn't want this team to become one-dimensional. It happened to him a year ago, and they end up getting beat down pretty good on their home field. So they've got to do something about this run game, and I think these short passes are an extension of the running game.
McGee, Flodketter dropped at the 40 by Goodwin. They will mark it out at the 41. That will be a first down for Montana State. Gain of 6 on the play, and the chains move again. First half possessions for the Bobcats. Capped off by that McGee interception. Picked off by Hermanson. Kirk trying to get his day going, stacked up. First contact by Jordan Tripp, and then it was Wagaman who finished off Cody Kirk. 1 sack in this game in the first half. Half of it went to Wagaman, the other half to Josh Harris. So with that, Zach Wagaman now takes the lead over Caleb Schreibeis as the top sack man of the Big Sky, 11.5 to 11. Good look at Cody Kirk.
Look at this odd front they're giving. Got a 3-man line, but it's a 4-man line with Benjamin standing up.
A ton of time. McGee keeps the play alive, wide open, far sideline. It's Cody Kirk, puts a head down on Hermanson, and they will mark him down at the 32. Check at the 31-yard line of the Grizzlies. Big pickup on the play that time as McGee avoided the initial rush, bought himself some more time, and it's a 26-yard pickup.
You're going to see Denarius start to scramble right, and Tripp comes up instead of staying in his flat. And that's the danger created by Denarius McGee's ability to run the football.
Dragging a couple of Grizzlies after a gain of a couple.
Guys, they've really picked up their tempo offensively as well, reminiscent of what they did in the first quarter. They've found that tempo is really beating Montana's defense, not allowing them to get aligned into defenses, maybe some of the defensive substitutions that they would like to get into with Ty Gregoire.
2nd down and 8. McGee connects. First down, a yardage to Seawing. Coverage by Sean Murray.
I mean, Jason, do you believe that with the speed of the secondary of Montana, they have got a lot of speed? Do you think they need to be closer to these receivers?
Well, absolutely, and they've not threatened deep with the exception of John Ellis. Seawing, while we know he's got some wheels, look at where they are in the field. From a field position standpoint, they can't run that route. So why Sean Murray and company are playing so conservatively is a question.
Gain of 11 on the play. McGee now 20 of 35, 223 yards. And off to Kirk. No gain on the play. Tackled by Caleb Kidder, number 44. Backup defensive tackle for the Griz.
They're rotating, Coach Gregoire, rotating fresh bodies in and out, keeping guys fresh. To zip that pressure up.
We talked about Caleb Kidder, Tyrone Holmes. This is a defense not only is returning a lot of people, but the guy likes of Kidder and Holmes are going to continue it to be a dominant defense. They've got a lot of depth on that D-line.
2nd down and 10. Looking open target, but actually good help coverage coming over as Floodketter was the intended receiver. Murray was there initially, and then nice help over the top by Matt Hermanson.
It was a high-low route again. They run the short out with the corner out again. This time, that's how you get back. If you're Sean Murray, that's how you have to get back to break that play up. You can't bait the quarterback in there and allow him to throw it in there. Now, if you're Denarius McGee, you're in the red zone on second down. Look up to that guy running the corner route and then drop it down to your safety valve, Trey Robinson, for a little gainer.
5 of 12 on third down conversions of the Bobcats. McGee, shovel pass inside and nowhere to go for Lorenzo Davis. A loss of 2 yards. Josh Harris snuffed that out.
This is inside option again. Start everything out to the right side. And you see Davis try to come back in, but look at Josh Harris. The senior stays home, slow plays the quarterback who really didn't attack. If you're Denarius McGee, you've got to attack Josh Harris, make him tackle you, and force him to make a decision. And right there, you let him slow play it.
Well, guys, the other thing a shovel pass does in that situation, it minimizes the damage, right? So you're not going to run it. You want to take a chance and maybe slip it behind that first line of defense, but if it does fall to the ground, it's considered a pass, and they can live to play another down.
And that's Harris getting checked out on the field as we send it back to the Ford Sports Desk and Brad Adams. Attempt of 39 yards connected earlier in the game from 42. The kick is up. The kick is good. Rory Perez putting it through. And with 6:51 left in the third quarter, Montana State leading Montana 13-7. Scoring drive capped off by a 38-yard field goal by Rory Perez. 13 plays, 59 yards, 4 minutes and 22 seconds as we're at the midway point. Just about there anyway, here in the third quarter of play at Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula. A.J. Silva will get ready to kick off for the Bobcats. Gerald Kemp and Ellis Henderson back deep to receive. As you look at Kemp, that's a guy that's got some tough duty coming up when you've got to lead that wedge and try to clear a lane for these return guys. Henderson bobbles, so the touchback will bring the ball out to the 25-yard line. Well, let's answer today's trivia question. What is the average temperature for the Brawl of the Wild?
Been correct.
Which was what?
Cold.
Yeah,
right?
At a different, although last week, cold.
That was real. No, that's real cold. It was cold and real cold. Last week was real cold.
Well, the weather today, I mean, terrific for the players and terrific for the fans, and really nothing. Although as we look out and see the flags blowing, there is some wind to deal with for the quarterbacks. Mitch Saylor with the short catch from Smithwick Hand, who is now 16 of 22. Gain on that last play of 4 yards, so his passing yardage up to 132. Gain of 4, second down and 6. Dancing around, Jordan Canada, and Canada has first down a yardage. Send it down to the field, Jenny Cavnar.
Yeah, Tom, a little change on the offensive line for Montana. Logan Hines is at center now. That's because Kelby Oyland has left the game. He will not return with a head injury. Hines has played center before. Shea Smithwick has taken snaps from him. We'll see how it plays out.
Jenny, thanks. Bryce Carver with the reception, and Logan did an outstanding job 2 weeks ago filling in for Kelby when he was suspended for that game against Weber State.
See, you get a look at this defense right here from the Bobcats, and they look content to give up the short pass and continue to bend but not break. But Smith McCann getting on a roll right now.
And Canada out to the 49-yard line. Schreibeis in on the stop for Montana State. So the 8-yard gain on the previous play followed up 5 yards picked up by Canada. Fresh set of downs for Montana State. Good look at Shea Smithwick Hand, who took over in the North Dakota game for Trent McKinney. Kemp with the reception. Brought down by Cole Moore. Gain on the play of about 4 yards. Season tickets for the defending men's basketball Big Sky champion Montana Grizzlies are on sale now. Big Sky Conference Defensive Player of the Year, Will Cherry, one of the guys who hopes to lead Montana to back-to-back trips to the NCAA tournaments. Purchase tickets, or for more information, visit the Adams Center box office in Missoula or call 1-888-MONTANA. Trying to set up the screen, and that thing is going nowhere. Jody Owens putting a lick on Peter Wynn.
This is really one of the first times I've seen Montana unable to run this little slip screen to the right side, and Peter Wynn does a nice job selling it. The O-line does a nice job selling it, but if you watch number 23, reads it the entire time. The right tackle can't get out there.
Loss on the play. 3rd down and 9. Blitz coming. Smith-Wickham looking for Henderson. And incomplete coverage by James Andrews.
The ball's got to have more air on it there. Trying to throw that fade route. Got him beat. He's got him beat. You're waiting a little bit too long. If you're a receiver, you want to close that gap and climb on top of that defender, but there's no penalty on that play.
No, and Ted, I think if you're Ellis Henderson, you've got to find a way to get a little more separation and give more room to the sideline. I mean, as a quarterback, you want to be able to drop that over the shoulder. And felt like Ellis Henderson got even, but he wasn't leaving.
5th punt today for Stephen Shaw. Fair catch made by Sean Johnson at the 20-yard line. And with 4:26 left in the 3rd quarter, the brawl of the Wild being led by Montana State. let's take a look at our Ford game summary with 2 minutes, 11 seconds left in the third quarter. Montana State in front of Montana, 13-7. Rushing yardage and huge edge to the Griz over the Cats. Cody Kirk just 27 yards rushing for Montana State, and over his last 3 games, 411 yards rushing with 7 touchdowns. The Griz on first down and 10, and nothing doing on that carry by Peter Wynn. Zach Minter making the stop for the Bobcats. Guy who may find himself playing on Sundays very
Absolutely
shortly.
will get the shot. He will definitely get an opportunity.
Simply can. It's Saylor. Good recovery defensively by Darius Jones. And maybe a ball that was just thrown a little bit behind Saylor.
And Tardy. And I'm sure Jay will say the same thing right here. Pound your foot in the ground and get it out in front. But a great job of finishing the play by Darius Jones. That ball's got to be in the air. When he sticks his foot in the ground, the receiver, you've got to get that ball in the air. That's a late throw.
Yeah, you're licking your chops and you see that coverage. You know what you want. It's a home run play. Get that ball out of your hands.
Actually, it was on target, not behind him, but that was only part of the equation.
76, offense, still third down.
Goes against the right tackle, Danny Kistler, a 6'8", 325-pound junior out of O'Day High School in Seattle.
Look who's in front of him, though. Come on. He knows. I mean, Schreibeis does that to a lot of guys.
By the way, added to the Buchanan watch list this week as the top defensive player in FCS football, Caleb Schreibeis. Smithwick hand going deep, far sideline. Intended receiver was Ellis Henderson on that third down play. Good coverage by James Andrews and the punt team coming on for Montana.
But the one thing you've got to give your receiver a chance to make a play. If you throw it on the white stuff, which is out of bounds, you have no shot to make a play on the football. Give him a chance in that situation. Maybe you get a pass interference, but you throw it out of bounds, there is no chance there.
Sixth punt of the day coming up for Stephen Shy's average 33 yards per kick. Johnson back near midfield for Montana State. From his 45, breaks one tackle. Now trying to reverse his field. And finally brought down at the 45. So he ran about 45 yards for basically no gain, but terrific effort by Sean Johnson as we send it back to the Ford Sports Desk. With a win today and some help. McGee. Deep over the middle. Might be picked off. Oh, close. Hermanson nearly had his second interception. Trying to get the number on the intended target. Looks like it was Flotketter.
Yeah.
McGee, 22 of 40, 223 yards, a touchdown, and an interception.
And I'm trying to figure out what he thought he had there. That was a good matchup. You had the slot, Chris Ewing going over to the post, but that was not a good matchup there. Hermanson did a nice job staying at home in his zone.
Second down. Kirk. Not much there. Takes it from the 45 out near the 49.
Well, guys, you go back to that previous play, and in tight games like this, you only get so many opportunities to turn the tide for sudden change. We've seen Montana miss 2 field goals, a sure interception there by Hermanson. Against a good team like Montana State, you got to wonder if you're a Griz fan how many more chances you're going to get.
What a difference a week and an inspired defense makes. Against Portland State last week, Cody Kirk, 11 carries, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground and 1 through the air. And today, just a massive struggle, 31 yards rushing on 14 carries. McGee on third down. Pressure coming his way, could not connect with Flotketter as John Cannangata had the coverage, and the punt team on again for Montana State.
Denarius showing his frustration. He wants his tight end to sit, but he wants him to slide back inside. He is so frustrated. You see, he's being really, just boisterous to his guys, running up on them. And as a leader, you got to kind of just get your guys with it. You've got the lead. No sense to go crazy on your guys. You still need these guys to make plays for you and to want to make plays for you.
Flores punt, 7th in the game, 13th total in the game. Oh, and that would nearly hit Gavin Hagfors, but it did go out, marked out at the 17-yard line. College Hoop fans, Root Sports is your destination.
Minutes to go. Montana State clinging to a 6-point lead in Montana. Look at the other co-leaders. Top of the Big Sky for today. Eastern gotten back on the board. They cut the Portland State lead now to 26-21. That in the third quarter. Meanwhile, down in Flagstaff, Northern Arizona up early 7-0 on Cal Poly, but Cal Poly just tied it at 7. Winner of this game will earn a share of the conference title. So good games there and a good game in Missoula, guys.
Brad, thanks a lot. So after that mental mistake by Ellis Henderson, who was unable to hold on to that pass at the 10-yard line. First down and 10, now second down and 10 at the 4-yard line. Let's take a look at the punt. It bounced between the 20. The first bounce was between the 20 and 25-yard line. Henderson had signaled for the fair catch.
Almost immediately, there's the 24-yard line bounces.
So that cost Montana 20 yards. Smith-Wickham using the stiff arm and a gain of 2. Brad Daly with the tackle for the Bobcats.
It's a good job of reacting by Daly, understanding that he has time and he feels like he's a better athlete than Smith-Wickham.
This is where Smith-Wickham has to come of age. You got to put the ball in his hand, try and make a play to advance the ball, get a first down. We've got a high risk reward here for the Grizzlies.
See if Montana State comes with a blitz on third down.
2 deep man under looks.
And here it comes. Smith-Wickham across the middle and unable to hang on is Cam Warren. And the punt team returns for Montana. Darius Jones with the coverage.
You got everything you want, but instead of running with just speed, trying to wait, you got to stair step the guy. Cam Warren does a good job of getting open, doesn't finish the catch. A little bit of a conservative call, and I get that because the catch still would have gave him an opportunity to run away, but a little bit of a conservative call there.
16th punt of the game coming up, the 8th for Stephen Shaw, and he needs a big one right here. Standing in the back of his end zone. Johnson at midfield. And into a swirling wind. The ball will settle at the Montana 49-yard line. So a good job by Stephen Shaw. 8:55 left in the 112th edition of the Brawl of the Wild. Montana State Bobcats have the lead against Montana Grizzlies 13-7, 8:55 left to play. And a first down and 10 for the Bobcats at the Montana 49-yard line. McGee to Kirk. And again, nothing coming easy today for Cody Kirk. Murray and Tripp in on the tackle.
Really, but you have to continue to try to pound him in there, get him going. That offensive line right now has to decide they want to try and close this game out. Putting a score up here makes it a 2-possession game, and then that makes it really, really tough for Montana, who's had problems facing that Bobcat defense all day.
Second down and 8. Flatketter down. They'll mark him out. See if they put it at the 41 or the 41-yard line. Starting center for Montana State, Sean Sampson, number 56. This guy's a terrific story. He began his career as a walk-on. He's a senior. When he arrived on campus, he was south of 200 pounds. Rob Ash never thought he'd play it down for his football team, and now he's the guy that's doing such a terrific job communicating on that line, and he has earned the nickname Hobbit when he showed up on campus. But he's put a lot of weight on a young man that's really worked hard and part of the winningest senior class in Montana State history.
Did you say earned that nickname, Tom?
I'm a big fan of the films, so to me, Hobbit is a positive.
Well, I tell you what, he has been the glue for this offensive line, a real question mark coming in. And the guy has anything that goes on up front, he's given those guys the confidence to get it done. And while they may have struggled a little bit today, those young guys have played fantastic all game long. And I talked about it earlier when Coach Jason McAdoo got after him a little bit after a bad series. Sampson was the first guy to pull everybody back together and translate that message, if you will, to make sure that everybody had the right idea. So he has been a heck of a player, still just 265 pounds. He's playing against a lot of big fellas, but clearly one of, if not the best center in the Big Sky Conference.
Out of Capitol High School in Helena. Josh Harris down for the second time today, and the way he's going off this time, I doubt we will see him return for the remainder of the fourth quarter. Let's head down to the field and reconnect with Jen Mueller. Jen?
Lots of former players on the sideline today, including former Montana State offensive lineman Mike Person, who is now with the Seattle Seahawks. It's the Hawks bye week, so he drove on over here. He said, you know, there is no professional team here, so that's why everybody gets so involved. He was part of that team that last had the trophy in Bozeman, guys.
Wildcat snap to Kirk. Had the first down, driven back. Mark should give him that first down by a yard. Jordan Tripp with the stop. And again, nothing coming easy today for number 25, Cody Kirk.
Doesn't it seem like it's one of those games where all of a sudden he's just going to break out for a 40-yard run, 30-yard run, and then pretty much put the finishing touches on this thing?
15 now, checking 16 carries for 36 yards. I hear what you're saying, and I know that's what Rob Ash is hoping to see, and also the offensive coordinator, Kevin McGiven. On first down, Kirk again. Head down, and Tonga Takai making the stop for Montana as we head back to the Ford Sports Desk and Brad Adam.
Tom, thank you. Eastern Washington continues to go back and forth against Portland State in the Big Sky today. Number 5 Eastern just scored on a 36-yard touchdown pass. They've retaken the lead.
hands of Jerome Sowers, Northern Arizona team, hoping they can pull it out against Cal Poly. Kirk wrapping up that football. Looks like he has first down yardage. Let's see where they mark. Actually, they're going to mark him just short by a few inches.
You know, the bad part about the whole thing with the tie is one of these teams is going to get left out of the playoffs, and they're very worthy of getting in, whether it be the loser of the NAU and Cal Poly game probably won't make the playoffs.
That's
that'll be a shame.
Yeah, it really will be, and especially Northern Arizona had that great winning streak going, but potentially for them to end their season with back-to-back losses. Let's head down to the sideline, check in with Jen Mueller.
It is right behind us, and the man presenting the trophy today is Senator Max Backus. And Max, we were just sitting here talking. This is a big game. You flew all the way home for this game. Explain the significance.
Well, this is the greatest sporting event in Montana. Today, the greatest attendance of any sporting event in Montana history. This rivalry started 112 years ago, and the score then is almost identical to what the score is today. Doesn't get any better than this. This is Montana. Cat Griz, it's Montana.
You did not attend either school, but who were you rooting for today?
Look at, I'm always for this game. There's no better game than Cat Griz. We have so much fun. You see couples here. My husband went to Missoula. His wife went to Bozeman. They're fighting and feuding. But at the end of the day, it was a great game.
It was indeed. And we're going to go let him find some friends to help him present the trophy. That sucker is huge, Tom.
Jen, thanks so much. He knows his series history. 1897, Montana beat Montana State 18-6. And right now it's 16-7.
Timeout, Montana State.
Timeout taken by Montana State. You know, that may be
the game clock to 50 seconds. 50 seconds.
That may be the first interview the senator has done in quite a long time where he did not hear the phrase fiscal cliff. You know how happy that makes him?
That's why he was excited. He had clear thoughts. He could go back in history and pull out the score just like that. He knew what was going on.
You know, he'll be talking about this one when he returns to D.C. This is it for 12 seniors. 50 seconds left in their Montana career. Brett Bauer, Bryce Carver, Sam Gratt, Jacob Haas, Greg Hardy, Joshua Harris, Jake Hendrickson, Gerald Kemp, Dan Moore, Peter Wynn, Josh Stubert, Caleb Walden. Remember Caleb back at that game at Northern Colorado on a punt play, picked off a ill-advised throw by the Northern Colorado punter, took it in for a touchdown. And let me say Josh Harris. I gave him the formal pronouncement of his name as Joshua. So
remember, that's Joshua
Denard.
Right.
But congratulations to those 12 players. The hard work it takes to be a college athlete, maintain your academics at a high-profile program like this. Those young men deserve a lot of credit. We wish them the best as they move on beyond the University of Montana. And there's Peter Wynn back to return the final punt of his career. 41 seconds left in the game, and I think a lot of people wondering where was Peter Wynn, and there may be a very good reason why Peter Wynn was not back on that previous punt that was allowed to bounce by Ellis Henderson. But at this point, that's water under the bridge as the offense for Montana State, for Montana, comes back out onto the field. Peter Wynn, Dan Moore, another senior. Win or lose, it's going to be very emotional for them once this game ends. And Schreibeis gets the sack. So he is now the Big Sky sack leader with 12, passing Zach Wagenman, who has 11 and a half.
If you're Wagenman, you're like, come on, Kistler, Bales, you guys got to take care of your boy, man. You can't let those guys come through clean like that.
Smithwick hand. Darius Jones could have had a pick six as that pass was intended for Bryce Carver.
You have to finish the game. Don't just be out there. Finish the game strong.
As Griz said, they almost thought they weren't going to get back on the field. You can tell they're kind of packing it up and thinking elsewhere, but we've got to come back and at least make a good showing in front of the home crowd.
No seconds left for Montana. Pass over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Mitch Saylor. 4th down coming up.
That's a terrific throw right there. That's a ball that has to be caught, but it's one of those balls that's in that area where you know that safety's back there and you could possibly take a shot, but Smith McCann did a great job getting back, pounding his foot in the ground, throwing it on time. Ball should have been caught by Mitch Saylor there.
This Montana State team will make its way back to Bozeman tonight. Tomorrow morning, the selection show for the FCS playoffs at 11:30. Smith McCann deep over the middle and nearly picked off by number 5, Joel Fuller. 4 seconds left in the game, and they will gather at a restaurant in Bozeman to find out how things lay out for them in the postseason. Today's peak antifreeze peak performer is, and certainly some good choices, but we go with the quarterback, the winningest quarterback in Montana State history. Denarius McGee, with the win today, takes his career record to 29-7. You see the numbers: 26 of 47, 247 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception for the junior out of Euless, Texas. And McGee will take a knee, and the Bobcats have reclaimed the Great Divide Trophy. They end a 2-game skid against Montana as they take the 112th edition of the Brawl of the Wild. And the truck carrying the Great Divide Trophy with Senator Backus coming out onto the field. So Max Backus, the senator representing the Treasure State, out at midfield. Out at midfield with the Great Divide Trophy. Bobcat fans who are here enjoying this moment. A regular season that ends with a 10-1 record overall, 7-1 in conference play. This is a team that won at least 9 straight games, 3 seasons in a row, a program first. Now 36 wins for the winningest senior class in school history. Rob Ash, the winningest coach in Montana State history, now with his 49th victory. And the focus tomorrow on the selection show. Jen Mueller is with the winning coach, Rob Ash.
Hey, Coach, we do not want to take you away from the celebration, although you've already pointed out that trophy is heavy. You don't want any part of carrying that one, I don't think.
That's for sure.
You know, when we talked at halftime, things were maybe a little tenuous. What do you say about your team in the second half?
This team is so tough down the stretch. Our defense did a fabulous job the whole second half, keeping them. We finally got the field position switched with some good punts, and then that last drive, I think we took it with about 9 minutes left, all the way down to 2 minutes, and we finally ran the football, like I told you at halftime that we needed to do.
And Denarius was one of those ones picking up some of those key plays just to keep the drive alive and the clock in your favor in his performance today.
Amazing performance. He's the best winner I've ever coached at quarterback. He's fantastic. He ran for those first downs. He knew what he had to do. He always seems to help us find a way.
This was number 1 on your list of goals, was to win this game. Everything else perhaps can fall into place now.
Well, we got 2 of our goals with this win. The one is was beating the Griz, of course. The other one is now we're also champions in the Big Sky. So it's a pretty nice day.
I hear the fight song playing. You better go join in.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Tom.
Jen, thanks so much. And for Rob Ash, a guy that really made a name for himself at Drake and then was presented with this opportunity to take over the Montana State program, what he has done has simply been outstanding, and the fruits of their labors today paying off with a 10-1 regular season with the playoffs looming and the Great Divide Trophy getting ready for the bus ride back to Bozeman tonight.
I think they'll be FedExing that. I don't know if they'll be busing that back on the. That's precious cargo, man. You can't just throw that on a bus.
How do you FedEx that short of a few $1,000s?
Hey,
that is
somebody would be excited to drive that thing back in a nice padded van.
Jason, you're down on the field, and we appreciate everything throughout the day as our on-field analysts. Just talk about that scene down there for those players and what it means. It must bring back some memories.
Well, there's no question about it. These guys, you can just see the joy, all the time that they invested this season, and to get their #1 goal that they set out to do and beat the Griz, really something else. So you talk about this Montana State team and all they've gone across. They've got a lot of opportunities still in this season, but this is as happy as they've been. They know they'll have at least a share of the Big Sky Conference title, and their #1 goal is accomplished. On the other side, you see a guy like Dan Moore, you see some of these seniors walking off the field, a Greg Hardy for Montana for the very last time, and it brings back memories. We all know what that feels like. You know you're possibly never going to play the game of football again, and you don't end it with a win. So mixed emotions out here on the field, but certainly one for Montana State that they'll remember for a long, long time.
Now you see Zach Minner, number 96, leading the charge with that trophy. As big as he is, even he needs significant help carrying that thing. Let's head back down to the field. Jenny Kavnar is with a guy who really had a fabulous game, and it's not the first time.
You think Jody Owens is excited, to say the least, here. Tom, he had to run and go touch that trophy because goal #1 beat Montana. You do it your senior year on their field. Can you put into words what this moment will mean in your career?
It's indescribable. I'm undefeated on this field. It feels great. It's a great atmosphere. They fans come out to play, and we did it. I'm glad to be a Bobcat, baby.
Goal #2, Big Sky champs. You can say that now. That is the goal to get you to the playoffs. How will a win like this against a tough in-state rival help you guys for the playoffs?
Well, I see it as momentum. We have momentum going into the playoffs. Unlike last year when we lost to these guys, we didn't go in with no momentum. We had to create our own momentum. So now this is just keep us rolling.
We're going to let you celebrate tonight, but we know you have selection show tomorrow.
Yes,
what do you
sir.
think that will be like?
I just hope we get a good seed, good bid, and all that home field advantage. We deserve it. Can they hear me, y'all? We should get home field advantage, baby.
Jody, thanks so much. Congratulations. Tom, we'll send it back to you.
Jenny, thanks. I'm not sure if that'll influence the committee. I'm not sure the committee needs the influence. I think Jody's right, and I certainly hope that is what the Montana State Bobcats get. They have worked very hard this season. The one stubbing of the toe at home against Eastern Washington. And for Montana, it has been a long, long time since they have finished a season sub 500. As they lose today, they end their season 5-6. 3-5 in conference play. First losing season for the Griz since 1985. And again, the playoff puzzle for Montana State. They share the Big Sky title. The only question is, with whom? Eastern Washington at last check on its way to a victory, it appeared, against Portland State. Northern Arizona and Cal Poly. The winner of that game will also get a piece of the Big Sky title. Cal Poly is leading in that game. I believe it was 14-13, the last score that follow here on Root Sports.
It's been outstanding. Some terrific players to showcase, and glad to be a part of us doing that. I mean, Root Sports, terrific job broadcasting these games. It's been awesome to be a part, and the talent level in this league, I'm telling you, it's a hidden gem for you people that haven't seen it. There's a lot of great players in this Big Sky Conference.
Said a pleasure. Enjoyed it. We'll see you in 2013. More Big Sky football. Jason Stiles, Jenny Kavnar, Jen Mueller, our entire Root Sports crew. It has been a pleasure. That'll do it from Washington Grizzlies Stadium, where Montana State wins the 112th Brawl of the Wild, 16-7 over Montana. The FCS playoffs start next week, and while Montana State is sure to have a spot in the postseason, we'll have to wait to see who will share the Big Sky title as the day unfolds. Right now, for those of you in our Root Sports Utah Jazz viewing area, you will be joining the Jazz and the Wizards in progress. For those of you in the Northwest region, we'll take you to Big 12 football in progress. Iowa State against Kansas. That's it. Big Sky coverage on Root Sports for 2012. We'll be back next season. We look forward to it. And again, for everybody at Root Sports, have a great evening.
Little throwback. Here's McNorton. He's got a ton of room. To the 20, down to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Bison. Over the middle.